So I think I'm gonna get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey guys, welcome back to the series. Today it is week 5 of returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! We've almost invested a month and a half back into the game, and I have to say, the more I play, the more I enjoy this, the more I love it. I really feel like I am getting a good understanding of the general mechanics, the flow of the game. And with that said, as kind of a general recap, last week, again, we did top with heroes, and Mario, he got us a new deck, which I think has an incredibly high skill ceiling. We picked up the top 16 YCS London Thunder combo deck, which is featured over on Cimooooo's channel and piloted by Herman Hansen. Once I saw this deck list, I was entirely enamored. With that said, I did iterate on the deck and bring it down to 40 cards. Back when I played, 40 was the standard number, and I really wanted to increase my chances of drawing Draconet in my opening hand, as I really do feel like it is the general catalyst to the majority of our larger combos. So let's try this out over on DN. The deck essentially aims to consistently build a board of Appaloosa, Titanic, and Colossus on its first turn while taking cards out of the opponent's hand with that of Levnier and Darkest Diablos. Honestly, it's pretty incredible. Now, a lot of you're probably saying, what about heroes? And don't you worry, still working on the deck, still iterating on it. And how could we not, with Bane still coming in the mail? Still definitely going to arrive at my apartment, and definitely not lost at a facility elsewhere, or delivered to the wrong address, or, you know, just dropped on a walk. Definitely still coming, and nothing bad has happened, despite the fact that it's been far over 40 days. Yeah. Either way, guys, I have some really exciting news in that at the end of the month, I will be attending my first regionals in over a decade. That will be in Scarborough, right outside of Toronto. So if you are in that general area, come say hi, come say what's up. I love the opportunity to get to meet all of you. And I love the regional experience. I feel like it's so much fun to play that many rounds, to hang out with your friends for that extended period of time. And while I'm cognizant of the fact that I've only been playing this game at this point for less than 2 months, and I probably won't do great, I do look at this as an opportunity to learn a lot, to get a lot of games in. It's a real learning experience. It's a lot of fun, and in the very least, who doesn't love a good road trip? Hey guys, it is Wednesday, and we have a couple of packages to open. I can kind of shuffle them like cards. Poorly, like cards. Aren't they beautiful? Now, admittedly, these are a bit more of an investment, but I do consider them that, an investment. Now, I love Teledad. It was the last format I played in before quitting, and I didn't quit because of Teledad. I really loved the deck. I quit because I was going off to university, but I really want to rebuild it, and so I've been picking up the cards when I could find them on sale, and these are a beautiful addition to that deck. With that said, I did predominantly buy them for the Thunder combo deck. However, now I'm a little hesitant. I did cut down a lot of Dark Monsters when we moved it from 46 to 40 cards, and I'm a little worried about the consistency. So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with these. However, what I am sure about is the side deck. So let's talk about that. Now, as for the side deck, I'm going to grab 3 Lancia, 4 Thunder and Grand Maju, 3 Red Reboot, 4 Salamangreat and Back Row, 2 Dark Ruler, 4 Thunder and Orcisk, an Imperial Order, 4 Strikers and Pendulum, and we'll also have to dip into the hero deck to grab our 3 Imperms and 2 Twin Twisters. So, the 15th card will be a 3rd Dark Ruler No More, which I currently do not have, so I will pick that up from Mario before the tournament. However, I have been reading the comments. I do see the request for another social media page, which you can follow me on, which, A, super cool that you want to be that invested. Thank you for that. But B, I did make a Twitter, so I'll link that in the description. I think what we'll do on it predominantly is share what comes in these a little bit early, so you get a sneak peek into the video, into the week, and I'll also try to share some other fun things as well. So thank you for that general interest. I think that's really exciting, and I look forward to seeing what we can do with it. So there's a link to it in the description, and with that said, this clip is kind of all over the place. I do believe I have a bit of an open slot of time here, so I'm going to hop onto YouTube, check out some of my favorite creators, and just try to learn a thing or two.
Dragon deck pioneered by her. Even the moral sword. So many things, and copy was just a great your extender. This will.
What's going on there, guys? We're back with another.
Guys, I have a wholesome update for you. My girlfriend Maya, she got me a Karibo advent calendar, and I think that is the sweetest thing. This actually has an Ultra 1-for-1 in it, which is a very competitive card, a very good card, and a great rarity. So, really pumped to open that. I'll probably open that one in, 30 days or so, which is still arguably sooner than we'll get either plural of our malicious banes, because that's just how life works, apparently. With that said, I had also ordered her an advent calendar filled with little Harry Potter Lego figures. She is a massive fan of the books, the films, and collects all of the Lego sets, so I decided to surprise her by just placing it on her pillow. As an update, she loved it, and now we have some iterations to make on the Dragon Combo deck. In the comment section, it was suggested that I check out the Jesse Cotton build, and I was really excited to see what he came up with because I loved the look of his Lunalight Orcus deck. Mario actually played a really similar version to that Lunalight Orcus deck a couple of nights ago when we were playtesting, and I have to say, I feel like Jesse in the community now, he's becoming one of those legends in the same way Dale Bolito was back when I played. With that said, Jesse also cut the Thunder Dragon engine down in the same way we did and worked in Sekka's Light, which actually solves our Allure of Darkness consistency issues. He also incorporated 3 Vishuda, which will be perfect for one of our main combos. So, it's Saturday, and I have to say, I am so pumped to play a deck that simply does not hard lose to that of Nibiru or Super Poly. With that said, I have been doing quite a number of test hands with this, and I genuinely feel like it is just so much more consistent than that of the Allure build. What you're going to see is the perspective of someone who is just getting back into the game, truly a beginner, and how I kind of interact with the deck and how we do. The goal again is not to come in first place today. It's not to do amazing. If we end up topping, that would be amazing. But I want to go and have fun with my friends. I want to learn about the Danger Engine. I want to learn about the Thunder Engine. And I'm just really looking forward to playing with some really nostalgic Chaos cards as well. So with that said, let's head on down to the shop and see how we do.
good. But I keep getting new cards that actually benefit.
Would mean Westling can have a win.
This is for me.
So I received my Sekka's Light, Vishudas, and the Link monster from Mario, so I was ready to learn. My first opponent was a nice familiar face, that being Carter. Carter and I, we actually played twice previously. I took the first match, he took the second match, and I knew this would be interesting. I won the dice roll and opted to go first, so I could set up my board, and set up my board I did. Now, what I'm about to show you, it isn't the perfect combo. I was also supposed to have a Colossus at the end, but it wasn't bad, so let's talk about it. So, I started by activating Sekka's Light to draw 2, then discarded Thunder Dragon to increase my hand size. From there, I specialed Vishuda as well as a Jackalope. Now that I had my extenders on board, I normal Draconet, which let me special a Galaxy Serpent from my hand. I then synchroed the 2 into Ib, which let me search a World Legacy Guard Dragon, which I couldn't use because I had previously activated Sekka's Light. The next move was to link into IP and summon Guard Dragon because Ib was sent to Graveyard. I then used my 4 monsters to make an Appaloosa with 3 negates and proceeded to special my Serpent from grave by banishing the Guard Dragon monster. I linked Galaxy Serpent into an LP, which brought out Seifert from deck. I tributed Seifert to search Collapse Serpent, which I specialed and linked into Pitsy, which brought back the banished Guard Dragon. The Collapse Serpent also let me search a Wyvern Buster, which I summoned and made Saryuja. From there, I drew 4, put back 3, and greatly misplayed. So, admittedly, here I really did misplay. I should have kept the Dragon Dart, specialed it with my Saryuja's effect, and then tributed it to make a Colossus. However, I did not. Instead, I specialed Vishuda with Saryuja's effect, then I banished Seifert to retrieve my Levenier. I specialed the Levenier to rip a card out of Carter's hand, and I continued to wall off with Tsukinoko. Then I summoned another Levenier and linked the 2 into a Titanic, which allows me to negate a spell and redirect attacks. Now, this obviously isn't a bad board, it's pretty good, but I could have had a Colossus as well, which would have been significantly more helpful the following turn. With that said, I would like to note, kind of as a whole, that turn took me 10 minutes, which is ridiculous. So, it was Carter's turn, and I knew I hadn't set up what I needed to. He baited out my single spell negate, built a big board, which negated my Appaloosa negates, and essentially took the first game with his own 10-minute turn. I decided to side into Imperms, 2 Twin Twisters, and an Imperial Order. He let me go first, and as I discarded my Thunder Dragon, he dropped a Lancia. Admittedly, once that happened, I felt pretty lost. So, from there, I set my Twin Twister, my Jackalope, and passed. Carter began making his big pendulum combos, but once he used a lot of his resources and created a scale, I used my Twin Twisters and stopped the big damage. He opted to enter his battle phase, swung over my danger, and took me down to 1100 life points. Honestly, I just wanted to live another turn, I wanted to get to play, and I got lucky, so very happy about that. With that said, his last turn also took an accumulative 10 minutes, so we have now spent 30 minutes on 3 different turns. I took a 10-minute turn, he took 2 different 10-minute turns, and time was running out. So, on my turn, I specialed Danger Nessie, which allowed me to draw into the Draconet I needed. From there, I started to enter into my big Guard Dragon combo, and just when I was about to Saryuja, he hit me with the Nibiru. Admittedly, I was pretty flustered. The deck is generally meant to make Appaloosa on the 4th, 5th, or 6th summon, which I didn't do, and I was definitely punished for that mistake. So, at that point, all I could do was special the Levenier and banish the Nibiru. It was his turn, he drew, and wasn't able to make a play. So, I attacked with over 8,000 damage and took the second game. So, time was called seconds after, and we ended in a draw, which is actually pretty cool considering our history. But with that said, again, my first turn, I did take 10 minutes, and I know I need to get faster. I know that's not fair to my opponents, and even if that means I have to rush a little bit, I'm going to get better at that. The next match was against Wes, and we really go back. He was one of the first real friends that I had at Action Pack Comics 15 years ago. Wes has been over to a couple of my Halo LAN events, and we were also gym partners for about a year. Also, no, I no longer look like that anymore. I was getting ready to compete in a men's physique show, and so I was just all in on bodybuilding, on men's physique and that. Right now, I'm not quite there. Will I be someday again? Yes, definitely want to make that a priority at some point in the future. Just don't currently have the time to get in that shape / stay in that shape, but we'll make it happen again. Anyways, Wes is a fantastic guy, and he's also just returning to the game. We bumped into each other at the bank 2 weeks ago, and I said, hey, wanna come back and play some Yu-Gi-Oh? He said, sure, and well, here we are. Now, Wes was playing first and summoned an Inspector Border, then equipped it with a Moon Mirror Shield. Then he set a Solemn Face down, and well, I simply couldn't play out of that, so we moved on to Game 2. I started Game 2 with a less than ideal hand, but had a Draconet, so I could start my basic combo. Unfortunately, I forgot to special my Guard Dragon from deck when it was sent to the graveyard, and so I had one less extender. Had I summoned the Guard Dragon, I could have Saryuja'd and continued my plays, but again, you play and you learn. Wes followed up with a Pankratops, ran over my Appaloosa, and popped the Levinier. He then summoned a Phosodina and set a back row, which included a Phantom Knight's Sword. And well, to put it simply, I didn't have a card in my deck to deal with that combo, so he took the match with a clean 2-0. So we now have a tie and a loss, which is admittedly not great at all. However, still having a lot of fun. I think this is a ridiculously fun deck to play, whether you're winning or losing. And on top of that, I do feel like I'm learning a lot.
That's just because I didn't bring a deck.
It was time for round 3, and I was playing against another Wes who I actually went to high school with about a decade ago. I went first and started my combos. This time, however, I wasn't going to forget to special summon my Guard Dragon, or that I needed to keep a Thunder Dragon in my hand for my Saryuja''s special summoning effect. So I ended up taking the match 2-0. However, quite honestly, neither of us, we weren't really sweating. We weren't really trying too hard. I think we were just having fun figuring out our decks, and it was a real pleasure.
These two athletes, I feel like Wesley Switzer,
The fourth match was against a new Cyber Dragon player, but unfortunately, I wasn't as aware of my camera battery as I should have been, and unfortunately again, I was only able to get my first turn of footage. So, to fill you in, I did end up winning the match, but we did have an incredibly close game. He almost had me with a limiter removal, and it was just a lot of fun. Now, we got insanely lucky. I had 2 wins, a tie, and a loss. However, so did a couple of other people, and due to our back points, we were able to sneak into the top 4.
You gotta look super serious. Hold on. He's trying to avoid me. I can't avoid this. You sure you want this is forever.
Our first round was against Mario, who actually decided to play as regionals are right around the corner. It's also worth noting that he was playing the Grand Maju deck Ganon was playing the previous week. Mario on the dice roll, he told me to go first, and so I started my combo. However, this one's a little bit different and involves a Seifert and 2 extenders. I began by discarding Thunder Dragon, then normal summon Seifert. From there, I specialed my Tsukinoko and Jackalope, which allowed me to start my combos. I tributed my Seifert, which allowed me to search for a Collapse Serpent, and banish the Seifert to special summon it. I then linked my 3 into a Curious, searched for a Wyvern Buster, and sent my Dragon Roar to the grave with Curious's effect. I then banished Roar with Wyvern Buster, and specialed a Dragon Dark from deck. I used Dragon Dark and Curious to make Appaloosa and searched Hawk with Dark's effect. Hawk was then ditched to special a Roar, and I made LP with my Wyvern. LP specialed Seifert because I unfortunately milled my Omni Dragon. Speaking of unfortunate things, I did special the Roar to the wrong zone, which stopped me from summoning Pitsy to where I wanted. Luckily, I was able to figure out a way out of it and continue my combo. I linked Seifert and LP into Romulus and searched Ravine, which I activated. I ditched Vishuda and put my Darkest Diablos in grave for later. The next play was to summon a Levinier and rip a card out of his hand. I then opted to tribute my Roar to special a Colossus, and because I tributed a Dark Monster, I was able to special my Darkest Diablos from Graveyard. I tributed Levinier with Diablos effect to make Mario take another card out of his hand and put it back in his deck. From there, I banished my Seifert to return Levinier to hand, specialed it, and Exceed summoned into Titanic from my extra deck. So I now had a spell negate, the ability to redirect attacks to monster negates, and a Colossus which stops him from searching. He was also starting with 2 less cards. Mario built a big board of dangers and went into Dingirsu, which got rid of my Titanic. He then entered into his battle phase and cleared a lot of my board. I was able to live and attempted to go off a second time by summoning another Levenair, my Darkest Diablos, as well as another Levenair. I wasn't able to finish the game, so I made a Hiatus Seal of Heavenly Spheres to bounce any potential Grand Majus that could come up in the next turn, and he scooped it up. So, if you watched last week's episode, you're probably aware that this was actually the first time I was able to take a game off of Grand Maju, and I was feeling pretty good. Mario made me go first, and I had a pretty odd hand. It wasn't unusable, but admittedly, I didn't have the experience to really make the optimal plays with it, so I made some questionable plays and brought out a Saryuja, a Colossus, and my Darkest Diablos, which I did decide to tribute to take a card out of his hand. Mario blew up the Saryuja with a Bigfoot, bounced the Colossus with a Danger Response Team, he then summoned a massive Manju, and quickly took the second game. Now, thanks to you guys in the comments, I was aware that I needed to say that he was going to go first, because apparently we're supposed to play second against the deck, and I really appreciate that feedback. I feel like I get so much good information, I get so many deck ideas, I get so many tip ideas, so many general play ideas, so thank you for all of that. Thank you for getting us to 10,000 subscribers in the first month of this channel's life, and I really want 20,000 by my 9th video, which will essentially be the second month. Please continue to share the videos with your friends. Please continue to leave comments. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your stories. I love reading through it, and I really feel like we're building an incredibly special community here. So thank you. So, the third game, it was a great game. It went back and forth, but we didn't have much time on the clock, so we were rushing, making some misplays, and with literally seconds left, I passed my turn to Mario. He drew, dropped a Grand Maju, and attacked for game. Literally 1 second later, the timer buzzed. I don't know about you, but I love sports movies. I love it when there's that final play, there's like 10 seconds left on the clock, and then with that last second, somebody makes something big happen, and I felt like I was living that. Was I on the losing end of it? Yes I was, but it was still really fun to be a part of, and in the end, my conscience was clear. I felt like I gave him a chance to play, but quite honestly, I'm really happy with the result regardless, and I had a really fun time.
Yes.
So, I was now playing for third and fourth, and my opponent, yet again, was Wes. I was really happy that we got another chance to play, and this match, it was actually really quite interesting. I went first the first round, and I built a really big board, which he simply couldn't break. The second game, he built a really big board, which I simply couldn't break, and then for the third game, we decided to call it a draw. We decided, you know what? This was fun. Really like how this ended here. If we stop right now, we are both quite happy. So we just decided to do that. And I know, yet again, not the most conventional thing, but I felt like we had the fun we wanted to. So, there we have it. That is our first week with Dragon Combo, and I have to say, we did significantly better than what I expected to, and this deck, it is incredibly fun whether you are winning or losing. I feel like even with the less optimal hands, you can still do something, and those plays are incredibly cool, and I also feel like veteran players, you are just going to have so much options, so much fun with this. With that said, I do plan on playing a different deck next week. It might be Pure Thunder, it might be Pendulum, it might be Heroes, it might be what came in this package. Now this package right here, got this from Mario. It's a different deck, and it's a deck that I think I'll see a lot at regionals. So in the very least, I want to put it together and do some test hands just so I have a general understanding of the deck. So I will show you what comes in this next episode, or you can see a sneak peek up over on my Twitter. Again, there's a link to that in the description. Now, I know I say this quite frequently, but quite honestly, you guys, you make this worth it. Reading your comments, your stories, your ideas, that community aspect is by far what is most appealing to me about Yu-Gi-Oh! And this card game, and I really want to thank you for sharing your stories with me, for being a part of my story, and for making something really special here with me. I love what we're doing. I'm really excited to continue, and with that said, I will see you next week with a brand new episode of returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! Awesome. What a fun one. That was